So I've been hyping up Lava Spur Boots, but did Outlaws of Thunder Junction give us another card that is going to just crush it in Legacy? Let's find out. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today we are going to test out a brand new combo deck list built around Molten Duplication and Dualcaster Mage. These two cards can go infinite, but it's a little bit weird, so let's just hop into the tournament practice room at the start of the video before I even show off the whole deck list and talk about where it came from. Okay, to set up this scenario, you need any creature in play, a Dualcaster Mage in hand, and a Molten Duplication in hand. So what's going to happen here is that you are going to cast a Molten Duplication targeting your Dualcaster Mage, and you are targeting literally any creature, and then you are going to hold priority and cast Dualcaster Mage. So Dualcaster Mage enters play, and we can go ahead and copy this spell, and we will have it go ahead and target Dualcaster Mage. Now the Dualcaster Mage enters play and allows you to keep making additional copies of Dualcaster Mage. And notice that each one of these copies here has haste. So when you are done making all of your creatures, you can go and resolve the original Molten Duplication on literally whatever creature it is, and then you can go ahead and attack for lethal damage. So that is one of the game plans of this deck. Let's take a look at the whole thing though, because it's more than just this. So this is the deck list in all of its glory, and the design here goes to Killaby, who has been working on decks like the Riddler, that is the Riddlesmith artifact combo deck list. In the core of this, in that like it's a giant pile of artifact mana, is kind of the same. So there's a couple of different things going on here. Number one, we can play out a bunch of artifact mana and then crack an LED for triple blue to go and cast Echo of Aeons and to continue our combo chain. And even if that does not directly lead to a kill, playing a bunch of artifact mana and then redrawing 7 cards is pretty good. So that's one way to win. Another way that we can win is just build up a decent amount of Storm and cast Burning Wish, and then play a Storm spell. Sometimes we will have the black mana and enough Storm to cast Tendrils of Agony. Sometimes we won't have a lot of mana and will need to empty the Warrens. And other times we might have a bunch of mana but not a lot of Storm, and that's what Elemental Eruption is for, where we can just make a couple of dragons, pass the turn, and then, vomit through some spells the next turn, potentially killing our opponent. You'll notice that we're not maxed out on Molten Duplication in the main deck. And part of that is because it's in the sideboard as a Burning Wish target. Sorcery is good when you have access to Burning Wish. Now, Molten Duplication can just copy an artifact or creature that we control. So sometimes we might use this to go and copy, an Urza's Saga token. Sometimes we might use it to get an LED. Sometimes we might use it as another name Sticker Goblin. There are uses for this other than just going infinite. And the Dualcaster Mage combo specifically feels a little bit awkward to me because you need a creature in play, you need 5 mana on top of that and 2 specific cards. So I don't know how many times we are actually just going to go infinite with Dualcaster Mage, but it's a pretty neat combo, while both cards are just perfectly reasonable on their own. So for example, let's say that your opponent has a decent number of cards in hand. You can Jeska's Will, Dualcaster Mage, Jeska's Will again, and that can actually be mana positive as long as you are making more than 3 mana with the Jeska's Will. Or, maybe you have too much mana and you can just use this as a second copy of Burning Wish or something like that when you cast it. This can also be used defensively. You copy target instant or sorcery spell. It doesn't necessarily say ones that you control, so this could be your own Force of Will or whatever in a pinch. So thank you to Christopher for giving me a Dealer's Choice donation deck list to kind of help me play all these sweet brews. And on that note, the donation queue is a little low right now. If you want to see something on the channel and you donate now, you'll probably see it pretty soon. If you want to reserve a spot for Modern Horizons 3 cards as they're coming out, just shoot me a message or something when you make the donation, and we'll make that happen. With that being said here, let's go ahead and jump into the league, and should you find that you need some copies of Molten Duplication, and I'm definitely getting one for EDH purposes, it's already on my list, or you need some Dualcaster Mages, check out toamagic.com, and when you do, use promo code ThrabenU to save 5% on your order. They always have great Eternal cards in stock, and at any given time, they have like 95% of standard in stock as well. So whether it's new cards or old cards, they've got it covered. All right. Let's battle. Okay, I am on the play. I only have 1 mana in my hand. This one is an auto mulligan. Well, my second hand is good as long as this echo resolves. I guess I didn't talk about this card in the deck tech here. This is another win condition that will dodge some amount of traditional hate. It doesn't have trample or anything like that, so, it's not always going to be a reliable kill, but it is a big boy. Or maybe a big gender non-conforming storm. Whatever. So, hands a keep. I'll probably just go ahead and get rid of the storm entity here. Let's play out some artifact cards, shall we? Yeah. Burning Wish. I'm not sure if I crack both of these immediately or not. I'm going to assume that the answer is yes, and it's just awkward if I get Force of Willed, but it seems like my opponent is F6'd, so I'm going in. Oh, hey, Storm Entity came back. Storm count is 5. So I have 4 mana, 5 mana, 6 mana. That is just going to be like Burning Wish for some win condition relatively easily. I don't have black. 4, 5, 6. I actually have 7. From a 6. Can't quite Tendrils my opponent. I can Burning Wish for goblins, and that usually works. This is where I just don't have the reps to know exactly what my line is. The dragon card is 6 mana. So I am a mana short of that. Let's do a gamble. Build my storm a little bit with a name Sticker Goblin. Seems fine. No, okay, well, I discarded it. In which case, I'll just Burning Wish. Yes, just pick up empty and empty. I guess I should do this. All right, they're an Urza Saga deck. So this kills my opponent in 2 turns, maybe 1 turn. Ah, that's funny. Okay. My opponent is playing the card Urza Saga. I'll probably go Defense Grid out. Haywire Might in. I imagine that's probably going to be about it. Given that basically the entire deck is a Burning Wish tutor board, I don't think I need to sweat sideboarding most of the time. So it's possible that I just try to win this game with Urza Saga and some artifacts and just try to ignore the combo portion of my deck, as weird as that sounds. I don't really know what my opponent is playing yet. And there's probably a pretty good chance if I just go Urza Saga, Chrome Mox, Imprint a Molten Duplication, Lion's Eye Diamond, that life is good. Actually, I probably just imprint the Dualcaster. So always that. These can represent additional Urza Saga tokens. So I think despite the fact that it gives up the combo finish potential, I am just going to imprint the Dualcaster Mage. When do these go away? Beginning of the next end step. So did my opponent just keep a bunch of fucking mind break traps over there? What happened? Ooh, booties. I absolutely don't mind booties. Do I want to crack LED to just give this haste? No. No, I don't. I still like my Molten Duplications. Well, this deck's just clearly unbeatable. The rest of the league will be left to the viewer as an exercise. Today's video is sponsored by TopDeck.gg. They're an awesome company that runs an awesome tournament series. If you would like to play for prizes such as Time Twister, check out the Top Deck Championship Series. It's run using their patented Command Tower software, which is awesome for EDH events, although you can use it for anything. Your players can scan QR codes and then get real-time standings and seamless pairings for their event. If you're looking to step up your local tournament game, check them out. Opening hand can discard my entire hand on turn 1. That's a nope. I have mana and literally nothing to do with it, and Dualcaster Mage doesn't combo with Molten Duplication until I have multiple creatures in play. I'd rather go to 5 than keep this. Okay, am I on the play or draw? I am on the play. So this is, play this. This doesn't produce mana. Have 2 mana on turn 1. This doesn't do anything. Given that I have LED Echo in my deck and I can just refuel, I am willing to go deeper here. Let's go to 4. Feel like a genius. So 1, 2, probably 3 and 4. I think it's, I guess, possible that the Spirit Guide could be correct. But we are fully on a don't force of will me hand, because, like, I am fully dead if this Echo gets eaten. And I'm just going to use the blue mana here. Please, no force. Oh my god, it resolved. Okay. So, I'm just going to fucking do it again. So, Lotus Petal, LED. Mox Opal is now on. Cast Name Sticker Goblin. It's resolving. Will Molten Duplication name Sticker Goblin? That'll always be mana positive. Yes. We got a hasty one now. We can go ahead and Mox Opal. Keep this one. We will gamble. Get an Echo. It went directly to Graveyard. I still think I will go ahead. I can make red with this right now. Crack this for blue. Echo again. Storm count is 10. So now I just need to gamble for a way to win and have it not hit the graveyard. Alternatively, I can just go yet again and take another fresh 7, which is probably fine as well. Yeah. Gamble. Echo. Echo goes to hand, that's fine. Exile Spirit Guide. Crack for blue. Cast Echo again. There is a Burning Wish. I guess Jessica's Will for mana a couple of times. So that leaves us with 14 mana after we've kind of done our thing here. Then at this point, I think it is perfectly fine to just win the game. Yes. Pick Tendrils. Tendrils, target you. Sacking both Lotus Petals. Just, that was a casual turn 1 on a mulligan 2/4 Storm of 18. We can be pretty fucking confident that my opponent is not playing blue after I gave them, I think, 3 different hands and they did not force of will anything. So that probably means that my opponent is on more Chalice type stuff, like Chalices, Hate Bears, whatever. I'm probably just going to bring in a Haywire Might as my 1 adjustment and call that good. Okay, my opponent has mulliganed. I do not like my hand. It doesn't really do anything. I don't think just like turn 3 make first Urza Saga token is good enough to keep the 7. Land, Chrome Mox, Imprint, a Spirit Guide or a Burning Wish, cast Gamble, do Shenanigans, seems fine. Never getting rid of this, never getting rid of this, never get rid of this, always keeping 1 Spirit Guide. I think I get rid of the other Spirit Guide. Okay, so Leyline will force me to change my plans. I can't do the Echo plan anymore. I don't really hate just like gamble for Urza Saga, play Urza Saga. Just kind of parsing how I do that. Think like this. Ooh. Sure. Oh fuck, am I about to get Oppo agented? Oh, I am. That ain't great. Okay, thanks, I hate it. That's the first time that's happened in a hot minute. Alright, so I have discarded a Spirit Guide. I think I am going to play out this LED so that it doesn't get discarded. It's much more likely to get discarded than destroyed. Unfortunately, with the leyline there, I can't immediately go into like Burning Wish Echo of Eons, which would normally be my plan. Okay, I lose the Burning Wish there. And then I'm going to get smacked around by this opposition agent. This is eye control. This is eye control. If my opponent's got a surveil land of something. Yep. So I guess what do I want to do in game 3? Because game 2 is over. It just takes a few turns for my opponent to attack me down. So, what is my plan here? Like, I can get something that kills opposition agent. I can get like a grape shot, or I didn't consider Wheel of Misfortune lines. Do I just need to treat this like a burn spell? Like pick 13, hope my opponent picks 14, and then try to deal 2 points of damage to them? Like, is that the way that I win this game? Probably. Okay. I am prepared to YOLO. Yes. Wheel of Misfortune. Past Wheel of Misfortune. This is one of, I think, the most poorly worded Magic cards ever. Like, reading the card does not explain the card very well. So each of us is going to choose a number 0 or greater, and then we reveal those numbers and determine the highest and lowest numbers. So, Wheel of Misfortune deals damage equal to the highest number to the person who chose that number. Then each player who didn't choose the lowest number discards their hand and draws 7. So this kind of works differently in multiplayer than it does in 1v1. In 1v1, one of you is lower and one of you is higher unless you tie. So the person who bids more draws 7 and discards their hand. Yeah. That sure is some shit. Okay. So I have 6 life to work with, right? So I take 7 from Bowmasters. So I can bid 5. 5 plus 7, 12. Okay. My opponent just bids 6 and then they draw 7. Or not? What did my opponent vote for? My opponent chose 0. Let's always yield to those bad boys. So the problem here is that I can't gamble for a kill because of opposition agent. So I can Lotus Petal, Mox Opal, Mountain, or Urza's Saga. Have 3 mana to work with. Shatterskull Smashing for 1. That's not going to get me there. We're going to have to try again. Opposition agents, Thoughtseize, Bowmasters, Leylines. It seems like this deck is built to beat me. I don't think I'm going to mess with defense grids to try to slow down flash creatures. I think I'm going to just try to fucking win the game on turn 1. So this is just purely, does my opponent have a leyline? That's what this is. I play LED, Spirit Guide, Gamble for LED to use as Black Lotus, and then cast Echo. Draw 7. I'm basically just fully dead to a leyline if I keep this. Am I being a coward? Maybe. Maybe this matchup is bad enough that I just keep this and attempt to turn 1 and hope my opponent does not have the leyline. Yeah. Happens. So let's see what's going on over there. Just a land drop. I think I need a few more resources before I start thinking about plays. I would really like to just Haywire Might the leyline and then still do the Echo line. Okay. I don't have red mana currently. Or sorry, I don't have green mana to get rid of leyline, which is a thing that I would like. So yeah. I think we're gonna go yeah. I'm just gonna imprint the gamble to play around Burning Wish type stuff. Or sorry, opposition agent off Dark Ritual. I think I will go ahead and Burning Wish. I'm just gonna grab Elemental Eruption as a backdoor way to win. I think it's pretty easy to rip something like a Namesticker Goblin a turn or 2 down the line, and then just poop 2 or 3 dragons into play and accidentally kill my opponent. That's fine. You're gonna animate Dad. We have a Voidwalker. What are we doing? Okay, my opponent just passes the turn. Still have no way to get green mana. Need something like a Lotus Petal or a Mox or something. If 4 potential mana, that's not enough for Elemental Eruption yet. I'm just... if I put that in play, it can just die to a Bowmasters. I'm not going to play that out. I've changed my mind. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not really planning on drawing cards at this point anyway. On the third land drop, opposition agent becomes another thing that I need to think about. Mid-combat fetch? Sure. Lotta Spare Boots is not really what I'm looking for. Ward on Haywire Might is like technically a thing, but I don't really think I'm interested in that. Alright, there's the opposition agent. I also don't know whether or not my opponent is playing Wasteland. Seems like it's probably pretty likely, so like mulliganing to an Urza Saga hand might just put me into a different like trap situation. Alright, so now junking the graveyard is not a thing anymore. Okay. Has to be this turn? 6, 9, 12. Yep, okay. Have to do something this turn. The bare minimum? So I always take 9. That leaves me 3 other life to work with. I could just play something like a Haywire Might, equip it with boots, try to block opposition agent, take 11, go to 1, always be dead to Bowmaster. I think that's fine. Like, I can build a storm entity that is slightly harder to kill, but it's still going to die to a lot of the same edict type stuff. I don't like the way that this matchup looks on paper. I think we usually clown our opponent in game 1, but I think once the ley lines and potentially also like surgical type cards get involved to bridge my opponent to their turn 1 or their turn 2, I think things start looking really bad for us. It is a grief. I think that makes it very hard for me to win the game. Alright, I have lost the Lion's Eye Diamond. It seems like my opponent is just attacking with the effectively unblockable creatures, and it's going to leave extra bodies back to make it less likely that some nonsense happens. I don't think I am capable of any nonsense. There's just too many things here that cut me off from different angles. GG's, you know, maybe we can mulligan this hand to have a better chance of going off on turn 1 on a way that does not involve leyline. But I don't have enough reps with this game to know for sure. You know, if I mulligan to an Urza Saga hand and my opponent just has a Wasteland, like, that plan falls apart very easily. I don't know. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and honestly, they're just the best at what they do. If you need to keep your deck lists online, this is the way to do it. They have all sorts of different viewing options. You can condense that text if you like things to be tight. You can make them visual grids. You can put them in stacks. You've got all sorts of different ways to kind of view and visualize your deck lists. And they also have some really cool functionality, like allowing you to see playtest hands and even fully playtest your decks. So check them out. Okay. So I'm on the draw. Turn 1, name Sticker Goblin into name Sticker Goblin. What is the minimum amount of mana that produces, assuming it works? 4. So the first one could be +1 up to 4 mana. And then I could be at 5 mana, Jessica's Will with a few floating storm entity. This is like a little sketch, but maybe works out. It's an LED or a gamble away from maybe having a backup plan as well. Versus basic planes. Don't swords me, I guess? Well, glad we talked about that. Let's try to do a big scary thing here. Oh. Well, I'm not done. Let us continue this game, shall we? Cool. Almost cool. Almost cool. Do I continue to play things? Like, I can Chromox, imprint a card, gamble, and try to get a storm entity into play immediately. But I'm not really sure that any of that is better than just passing the turn and beginning my next turn with a Jessica's Will. Like, storm entity just eats it to a Swords to Plowshares immediately. I think that's good enough. Hands a touch clunky. Ponder's fine. Jessica's Will threatens to just immediate... Oh god, that's such a good draw. Jessica's Will threatens to just immediately make a gajillion D mana, which is quite good with Burning Wish. I think I'm not interested in Dualcaster Mage here. I actually probably play the Urza Saga first, so that I can play around a Daze. Now we'll make our red mana. Mana, please. Opponent says no. So I don't have Metalcraft for this to be on to just vomit a Storm Entity into play, so we'll call that a turn. And just try to play Fair Urza's Saga Magic for a little while before I can set up another combo attempt. Alright, make Urza's Saga token. Have 2 mana. I could just play a Storm Entity and attack with it. I think, is that fine? Just like bam bam, Storm Entity attack. Maybe that's not the worst. Yeah. Oh, I don't have to make my Urza Saga token if I play out both of these. Yeah, let's just do this. Like, I'll just take the 4/4 body here. Excellent. Wait, is 4/4 right? Didn't I? Storm is 1, Storm is 2. Each other? Is each other. Does Storm Entity just count itself, right? 1, 2. Yeah, I think it did. Sure, that's fine. You'd like to bounce my 4/4 to my hand? You would. And then this is probably just going to become a Lava Spur Boots turn of some kind. Without really thinking about it, that just seems to be the case to me. Sure. Got a swords for me. Or you're just going to fetch around Pithing Needle. That's perfectly fine as well. Lava Spur into play. Equip here. It is a Leyline Binding. Sure. So if I don't think my opponent has Force of Will, I could just gamble for Echo of Eons, cast Echo of Eons immediately. I think I just like gamble for Urza Saga, equip Boots, and not take that risk at all. Saga directly to graveyard. Gumbag Saga. I don't think this game is over. My opponent has 5 cards. I am going to kill this Teferi. I think this game is dragging on long enough that taking that out of play is relevant. And I think I would prefer to not give my opponent a draw 7 if at all possible. Let's just start here. Another draw 2 removal spell is not what I want to see. My opponent's up to 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, technically 7 mana available. I think I'm going to try the same thing as last time. Opponent says no. We're getting weird. I think. 1, 2, 3. Is this just empty now? Wait, 1, 2, 3. No, it's 6 mana. Or no, 6 mana works. Yeah, no. It gives up the Storm Entity to do that? Okay. I mean, I think this is how I win, potentially. So cast Burning Wish, holding priority, cracking for red. Show me another force effect. Ooh. Empty? Empty. I have 10 power in play to my opponent's 11 life. Cards like Terminus and Supreme Verdict do exist. I can't really get excited yet, but this is 10 power to 11 life, and this is the final point of power in theory. There's the land, that's 5 mana, so that's not hardcast Terminus. Jessica's Will doesn't do anything immediately, but I can use it for the exile the top 3 cards mode if things go wrong. I don't expect that I get a kill this turn. Solitude? Solitude, sure. My opponent removes a 1/1, blocks a 1/1, takes 9, while gaining 3 until end of turn. You may play them this turn. Okay. My opponent's taking the life immediately off the Solitude. And things like Uro can be quite good here. Another Solitude? Oh, it is Terminus. So my opponent just draws 2, cashes in their life now. I'll put the goblins in any order. Molten Duplication is not great right now. Let's attempt to do something. I think time matters a lot here. Every Force of Will is just 2 more cards for my opponent, and I am just at 6 life. I don't have many Ancient Tomb activations left in me. I think this one is over. I think my opponent wins, but I already kind of swung this one back a little bit more than I thought I was capable of doing. Is it 4th Aerlinga's 2? It is. So there's 3 more cards and a 4th at end of turn. This also just kills me, in addition to everything else that's just bad about this. That was a good game of Magic. So I would like these defense grids. If I'm going the defense grid route, I guess Dualcaster Mage is pretty cuttable at that point, and maybe I trim one Molten Duplication. My opponent's just so good at removing my creatures. This seems fine. This doesn't do anything. This is just mono mana. So I will mulligan this. This hand's great. Keeperino. Probably just pitching 1 Lotus Petal. Yep, we are just playing Urza Saga Ancient Tomb .game. And we'll see what my opponent has to say about that. The only thing I'm a little unsure about is whether or not I play out the Lotus Petals immediately to grow the Urza Saga construct tokens. I can gain more life off something like a Swords to Plowshares, but every spell that I play while these Urza Saga tokens are initially ticking up is something that doesn't contribute to Storm later. I think to play around smaller removal spells, I will go ahead and just play these out, but let the record show that I have thought about it. Well, that sucks. I still get a construct token out of the Urza Saga. My opponent could have just done that in my upkeep, and then I don't end up with a single construct. Unsure if mistake or not without knowing more of their hand. Like, they got an extra Lotus Petal out of the deal at the cost of me having a 2/2 in play. What did they pitch? Pitched a Life from the Loam. Sure. Burning Wish. I think I am just going to chill and attack my opponent. I don't think I give up the Lotus Petal to just immediately Burning Wish or anything. That is a tapped land. My opponent does not have white mana yet. A Boseiju. Sure. Convert that into a mountain. A Chrome Mox. So there's this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 6 mana. Okay, Chrome Mox, Imprint, Gamble, cast Burning Wish. Yes, I've got 4 mana to work with here. I think this is just a small empty. I guess I attack first and then do it so that I don't miss 1 point of damage. It's just like very awkward if I randomly get hit with another Force of Vigor after I change phases. So I could have thought that out a little bit more. We'll empty when my opponent does not have access to white mana. And, you know, I'm shoving for 9 next turn. Maybe slightly more. Opponent has work cut out for them unless they can find a sweeper. That clears the Brainstorm and gives my opponent access to white mana. That's a threat. That's absolutely a threat. Sure. My opponent's down to 8. Casting this means that I have a theoretical lethal clock for next turn, but like we are in the theoretical realm. Teferi is fine. Take out a token rather than a spirit guide. Sure. I will just send this all at my opponent's face. Every point of damage is like a fetch land or a Force of Will that doesn't get to work later. Alright, Spirit Guide eats it. Opponent's at 2. Shatter Skull's Smashing is creatures or planeswalkers. We're going to cast this for 1 on Teferi to just finish off the Teferi. Fantastic. So hopefully there's not something like a Solitude and block here. Send it on in. So I don't actually deal any damage this turn, unfortunately. So I took out the Teferi so that if my opponent finds Terminus, they don't just have that Teferi sitting there to bounce future things out of play, and I got punished by the Solitude. So I can attack with Spirit Guide. Like, the block is forced, or I can attack with everything. I think it's better to just attack with the Spirit Guide. I want to take this Solitude out of play safely, and not have things just be disastrous. Oh my god, I think they have another Solitude. They've got another Solitude. Then if I attack with everything, 2 goblins get blocked. Opponent gains 6, they're at 8, then go down to 5. Yeah, okay. Alright. I'll bobble. I guess I'll wait to crack it for just a second. Take the card on my own turn. Opponent has a ponder on top. This does not do anything. I am going to still attack. Like, I have to keep in mind that my opponent may have been bluffing last turn. They were not, which is unfortunate. The opponent gains life on this attack, still has a Solitude in play. I can take the 50-50 of gamble for Urza's Saga, just literal gamble. That might be my best way to realistically win here. I just hate it. Try. Hey. Like, that is a way to potentially out-damage Solitudes. Alright, Up the Beanstalk is around. I hate it. Defense Grid's cool. I guess let's go ahead and cast that now. I think that's worth the 2 life that it'll cost us. Sure. Send in with the Goblin. Opponent's at 8. I have Lava Spur Boots in my deck, so I can attempt to attack with a pair of Urza Saga tokens next turn. Ooh, we might have knocked the Solitude onto the defensive, which is a great sign for me. Go to 15 here. That's not a good draw. So these are 4/4s into 5/5s. Off Boots. Whip Boots to this one. I'll crash in with both construct tokens and kind of hope for the best here. So this feels like a misstep from my opponent, right? Like, if you have the dress down, you gain 3 more life by attacking and deal some damage. Okay. I'll take some damage from the Solitude this turn. Am I playing this? I haven't really pieced out how I am winning the game from here. I don't think I'm playing this. I think I'm just going to equip this and save up. I think I just want to have name Sticker Goblin for if I flip something good like a Jeska's Will that could allow me to play multiple things at the same time. Okay, we're staring at each other. I'm just going to pass the turn. This passing the turn thing absolutely favors my opponent, but I just don't really have enough gas into the chamber to do anything. This is a great spell that's going to draw my opponent 2 cards. Oh, I see. Hardcast the Force of Will, sure. There's the other fetch. Yeah, and there's the draw 2. Alright, so now my opponent is going to get to start attacking. They can just take out my Lava Spur Boots. They don't even need to take out the Goblin token. Oh, yeah, I am happy enough that you take out the Goblin token. I think the boots are much better. Like, much, much, much better. I'll take 3 in combat. I might be begrudgingly just like playing a name Sticker Goblin and equipping it with Lava Spur Boots. Well, I think I'm going to do this way. I think I'm going to take 2 and leave myself with a little flexibility here. Hydroblast. Okay, am I willing to take 2 more to Jeska's Will and look at 3 cards this turn? With the amount of mana I have, I think that's a no. I think I wait a turn. My dad to Aerlinga's Fireball. It sure looks like it. I absolutely am. I will concede. For funsies, let's look at these top 3 cards. So I Jeska's Will with 1 mana available. I have 2 mana available. I cast Burning Wish, crack LED, 3 mana. I don't have the higher life total for the draw 3. I guess I can attempt to draw 7 with Echo, but that just kind of assumes that my opponent has nothing. This is a Whatstorm deck hand where we just, from Mox Imprint Spirit Guide, Opal, Urza Saga, play out everything, and just Urza Saga our way to victory. My opponent has mulliganed to 5 and kept their opening hand, and not played a thing on turn 1. So I guess I am happy with that. That Echo is actually kind of interesting. I can potentially just get Lion's Eye Diamond with Urza's Saga later to actually utilize that, which was not really a thing that I was planning on doing. And I'll absolutely just be leaving these artifacts sitting in play for Metalcraft reasons. And Urza Saga token size reasons as well. Are you a combo deck? My opponent might just be going faster than me here. So, does this generate a kill via Gaia's Will? It looks like it does. Storm is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Once they play out all their stuff. So there's Storm 9 and 10. Yeah, our opponent just went under us, unfortunately. Hand was great, so was not a mulligan, certainly. Conceptually speaking, I expect to lose this matchup. I think my opponent's deck is just going to be faster than mine and more consistent than mine, and I don't really have too much that I can sideboard against them. Like, I can take this defense grid out for a Haywire Might that can technically do stuff, but I don't think I am excited about my odds. Turn 1, I have 2 colorless mana and nothing to do with that. Second hand is Ancient Tomb, Spirit Guide, Jessica's Will target you for some amount of mana, Mox Opal, LED, Dualcaster Mage goes back in deck, gamble for Echo, and attempt to go. That's fine, assuming that a Leyline type card does not happen. So here we go. Red mana, please. Exiling Spirit Guide. 7 red. Let's play some spells. Yaw. Gamble. Echo. Blue mana. Echo for fresh 7s. We're going places. So, name Sticker Goblin. For some mana. Do this. Do this. Just literally do this to add storm count. Chrome Mox with no imprint. Storm Entity for a large creature. I guess I can do this on my opponent's turn. Bash for 12. This does not kill my opponent technically, right? Like, they can just kill me on their turn 1. Like, that is a thing that is possible to do, but this turn 2's. Turn 2, when my opponent has a random 7, sounds pretty good to me. Okay, opponent has been in the tank for a little while and is now playing spells, so that probably does not bode well for me. Sure. Oh, there's an echo of their own. Okay, here we go. Opponent attempts an echo. There are some worlds where I can crack an LED to have access to triple red for a Dualcaster Mage. I don't really know that if it's correct to do that though. Sure. All right. It is another echo. Good with that. Show me a win. Okay. Yep. 7 mana. Hardcast Echo. Sure. Still going. Hardcast Echo means that my opponent can echo again. Okay, so this will be Echo from Graveyard. Storm's very high. Got some artifact mana. And some ritual mana. Sure. That is a Beseech. Presumably for Gaia's Will. Oh, right. We can just skip that part and just tendrils me. Yeah. So we lost on turn 1 after presenting 12, 14, 16 power. Rough. All right, round 5 here. What are we doing? There's a gamble-based hand of some kind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, so 4 after a gamble. I can play everything out from my hand. So Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Chrome Mox, Spirit Guide, Opal, Bauble. Use 4 mana to just echo. Okay. Let's play out all of these artifacts. And then once we've done that, we gamble. Echo goes to Graveyard. Yaw. Don't Force of Will me, please. Cool. The rest of my hand doesn't do anything this turn. So I will probably just pass the turn and then do something cool next turn. Maybe Urza Saga, maybe Jessica's Will. I think I'm going to keep the Lotus Petals in hand for Storm rather than play around something like a Thorn of Amethyst or Thalia type card. Sure. I think I will just cash this in. One has a land coming. Ooh. Defense grid is cool. I think I'm interested in I think this. Let's do top 3 cards and see if we can get some value here. A Bauble is fine. What about name Sticker Goblin? Is that good? Costs me 2 Lotus Petals to do 3 if I want to Molten Duplication it for some reason. I think I am okay kind of just letting that stuff go. And this just becomes an Urza Saga game. I hope that's fine. This is potentially Collector Oof, so I think I'm going to crack this one. I'll just look at another random card in my opponent's deck. Endurance, sure. It is Collector Oof. So I'll take a new draw, and we're going to look to kill my opponent with a couple of Urza's Saga tokens, which I can take advantage of via Ancient Tomb. That's probably enough for this turn. Like, I'm well outside of the range of removal at this point. How big are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11s. Got it. Sure. Then a land drop. So, yeah. So there's the initial 9. Name Sticker Goblin, not exactly good yet. This makes these 10s. Opponent just fetching around a Pithing Needle, which is perfectly reasonable. If Collector Oof leaves play, I want LED. I don't think I need to play more artifacts here. I'm already totally fine rumbling in combat. I'm going to send one of these in. I don't get to just like play and equip boots, unfortunately. My opponent didn't block, which scares me. It could mean that something like Natural Order is just going to come this turn and kill me. There's land drop. Am I getting the hoof? I am just losing 2 decks that are faster than I am. Yeah. So, like, even if I block this much of it, I am still very dead. That's very unfortunate. I really need to win game 1 here, because I don't really interact with my opponent. I just need to go faster than them. Let's put, like, literally any red card into the deck list. Maybe just something like bring in the Elemental Eruption, just take that out of the wish board. Makes my name Sticker Goblins a little bit better. Okay. From Mox, imprint something. 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana, 7 mana. Burning Wish with 5 available. Yeah. So we'll imprint Molten Duplication. And then play out all the artifact mana. Like so. So Burning Wish plus 4. I guess I will exile this as well. Hold priority, Burning Wish, rack for red. Yes. Empty. And empty. So that's 12 power worth of goblins. That should kill in 2 attacks. Sure. Bobble's fine. I'll just cycle through that, put another card into my hand. Opponent's drawing a land. Attack for 12. Opponent's on 8. There might be some, like, Gaia's Cradle-based nonsense that could happen that could keep my opponent alive. Let's just rumble. Opponent can fetch Dryad Arbor. Yeah, okay. No changes. We're just jamming. Okay. Don't think I like this. It just doesn't do anything. Like, I have 2 starting mana. The Sticker Goblins aren't popping off. The Urza Saga is not really popping off. Let's try to do better. 2 mana. No. Go to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think the 5th one matters too much because it just gets discarded. I'll keep this. That one always goes back into the deck. And that one? Again, I don't think it matters too much. I did not randomly get leylined, so that's good. Sure. Alright, is this Ancient Tomb or Urza Saga? I think Urza Saga. Alright, yeah. Metalcraft not on, so we're just going. Rack blue, do the colorless, so I can leave a blue floating for fresh 7s. Multiple Mox Opals is a cruel joke. I can't produce Metalcraft next turn as of right now. What an atrocious 7. Wow, that's really bad. I maybe don't even get to activate Urza Saga. Wow. I am so disappointed. Yeah, my hand's trash. Take what you want. I think Elemental Eruption is like the best thing there, but Sticker Goblin is the thing that gets me to all of these cards, so, you know. And my opponent indeed does go for the Sticker Goblin that can fuel both a Burning Wish and an Elemental Eruption. Pick your poison. Sure. And an Elvish Reclaimer. I have to go see what my cats are doing. They are up to crimes, I think. Yeah, they were definitely up to crimes. So I Chrome Mox. I'm always doing this. I don't think I'm winning this game via Storm, just kind of looking at the pacing here. I'm going to put this under, and I'm going to Burning Wish or something that gives me some utility. I could do Last Chance with Urza's Saga tokens. I don't know that my tokens are big enough for that. Grape Shot, try to pick off small creatures. I think I'm going to get an Echo. Alright, I already played my land drop, right? I already played my land drop. I think I'm going to get an Echo. That way I have the possibility of get an LED off Urza Saga in 2 turns and do a draw 7 turn, assuming that a Bowmaster doesn't happen. I'm just getting oofed. Yeah. Oh, and there's more? Sure, that means I'm taking 4 this turn. Or sorry, 3 this turn, 4 every other turn after this. Until this gets bigger. I think at this point I'm just going to concede. I don't have enough mana to activate Urza Saga. I'm fetching up an artifact. All my artifacts are shut off. Yeah, I think we're done here. Alright, so how do we feel about this at the end of the league? I think not good. We did some kind of broken stuff when our opponents just couldn't interact with us at all. I think most of that was in round 1 and the beginning of round 2. And this deck is capable of some cool things. But the best thing Dualcaster Mage, I think, was contribute 1 to a Storm count. We never assembled that combo. And Molten Duplication on Sticker Goblin is kind of cute. But ultimately, I think these were cards that actively weren't winning me the game. And I don't think I like this. I think my favorite thing, like my favorite tech from this deck is actually the Storm Entity. Like, that was just a relatively large singular creature. I was a little skeptical because it didn't have trample or anything, but like, this on turn 1 was pretty solid. I think conceptually, you're supposed to like this deck because it can win with large Urza Saga tokens, 1 large singular creature by just storming off and drawing a bunch of cards, or by just making a bunch of mana and, you know, just flooping something like Elemental Eruption into play. But based on sort of what I was seeing in this league is that there are a bunch of combinations of cards that you can draw that don't really win the game and don't really interact well with each other. And I think there's just more consistent Storm decks out there. Like, I would call this successful as a brew in that, like, this is probably a deck that has enough raw power to, you know, 5-0 occasionally or something like that. But I don't know that this is like a hyper competitive deck in any capacity. One of the things that I don't like is that so much of the deck is dedicated to the tutor board that, like, I basically don't have sideboarding decisions. Like, I have 1 Urza Saga tutor bullet and the defense grids that I can board in, and otherwise, unless some card like Defense Grid is actively very bad, I don't really have a lot of agency in sideboarding. I don't get to make my deck better against my opponent's deck. So I feel like the way you win with this deck is win by like storming off in game 1 and then Urza Saga your opponent to death in game 2 when they haven't seen that or something like that. Like, this deck can win around a lot of things, but it feels like it's very easy for this deck to just lose to itself. And I think that's kind of my final thought on it. Folks, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and should you find that you need magic cards, check out toamagic.com, use promo code ThrabenU to let them know that I sent you and save a little bit of money. Alright, anyway, Hades 2 just came out yesterday, so I'm gonna go play that. See ya!